Okay, so now we find out that there is this missing gospel of brotherly love and love God with all of your might that is missing within the Old Testament. And we're trying to understand now what it's all about. And it says, "But if the ministration of death written and engraven in stones was glorious, so that the children of Israel could not steadfastly behold the face of Moses for the glory of his countenance, which glory was to be done away, how shall not the ministration of the Spirit be rather glorious?" So we have the letter, the engraven word, is up against the Spirit. And we're having a comparison to this written word being the ministrations of death. And then, of course, we're going back for further clarification that it's the letter that killeth. And then, of course, we find out that the letter is what killeth. Where? Where are we finding that the letter is killing? Well, we find out that it is killing within the Old Testament, right here. "But their minds were blinded, for until this day remaineth the same veil untaken away in the reading of the Old Testament." Now it's saying to this very day. Now this supports me so incredibly well for what I reveal in the Arrival of the Locust series and even Revelation, the two witnesses of Revelation 11. It really does. I hope that you understand what you're seeing, what your Bible is trying to teach you. So it's incredible. We find out that the information is being withheld. And we find out that the only way to get to the truth of the matter is by having our hearts turned to Christ. Okay, we must turn ourselves to Christ, and that this light of God has been commanded to shine in our hearts out of this darkness. Now the darkness represents something that's hid. We find out that what is being hid is the gospel. Now where is the gospel being hid? The gospel is being hid in the Old Testament. What is it being hid with? A veil. And that's it's covering it up. That's right. What is it covering it up with? It's covering it up with the ministrations of death that are using it as a letter that killeth. Well, we find the distinction between the letter, which is the Spirit that giveth life. Well, what we need to do is we need to come back here and look at this Spirit that's giving life. "For God, who commanded the light to shine out of the darkness, hath shined in our hearts to give the light of the knowledge of the glory of God in the face of Jesus." My friends, the Bible itself is telling you that the Old Testament is tainted. That it is tainted. Okay? That there is a veil upon it. And that there is a veil upon it even for your eyes of which you read it. Because you are still entertaining God as all this death, vengeance, and wrath. When simply, friends, we're talking about Jesus Christ, right? The gospel. And it's being hid. And then people are lost because they're believing and they're judging everybody based upon this veil of Moses, which is upon the Torah, the Old Testament. Now, this isn't saying that Moses was a bad guy. This is descriptive. This is symbolic of the Torah, the Old Testament. There's our clarification. Reading the Old Testament. So we're finding out, quite matter of fact, that what I'm trying to explain to you so diligently in every way and respectfully up until yesterday, and of course yesterday I lost my cool, so what? I'm human. I'm going to stand by everything that I said in that video. I'm just upset as the way I said it, no big deal. I'm going to leave it up. I'm an honest man. I don't care about the judgment other than it hurts, but it's not going to hurt me that bad any longer. So I'm just going to leave it up, man, and let everybody understand, what I was driven to. I didn't just come out one day and just do that out of nowhere. Everybody knows what led up to that, what input put me in at that output. It's equational. I'll be back.